A response to President Ramaphosa by Nigel Branken, social worker, activist, and pastor. What is xenophobia in our African languages? Thabo Mbeki once asked. The room fell silent. No one had an answer, but the absence of a word doesn't mean the absence of violence. Apartheid existed long before the term apartheid was coined. Patriarchy has been a reality for centuries, even when we lacked the language to name it, and xenophobia. It's here, raw and real, even if we struggle to find a word for it in our mother tongues. I've faced Operation Dudula in the streets. I've sat across from their leaders, listening to their grievances and challenging their misconceptions with facts. But facts alone can't erase the images seared into my mind: people chased, beaten, and killed simply for being foreign. Let me tell you about Dido. He wasn't just a refugee. He was a human being with hopes and dreams. For 4 agonizing hours, he was mauled by a dog. He fell into a coma, suffered a stroke, and died from the trauma not once but twice. His crime? Being born on the wrong side of an invisible line we call a border. Then there's Nthombi, 8 months pregnant, trying to make a living selling maize. In a moment of senseless violence, her stand was overturned, her livelihood scattered across the ground. The fear in her eyes as she cradled her unborn child. That's not frustration. That's terror born of hate. And Elvis Nyathi, his story haunts me. Beaten and burned alive because he couldn't produce an ID. Is that mere frustration? No, that is violence. That is xenophobia in its most brutal form. We can't hide behind the excuse that we don't have a word for it. Evil doesn't wait for language to catch up. It acts and it leaves devastation in its wake. But there is hope. I've seen it with my own eyes. At the counter-protest, poor South Africans stood shoulder to shoulder with us. Shack dwellers, traders, recyclers, and activists united in their message. Foreigners are not the enemy. Injustice is. This isn't a grassroots uprising born of genuine grievance. It's fear carefully cultivated and weaponized by those in power. They've found a way to turn pain into hate, to redirect the anger of the dispossessed against those even more vulnerable. We must name this harm for what it is. We must choose truth over comfortable lies. We must stand together, South African-born and foreign-born alike, against the real enemies: poverty, inequality, and corruption. South Africa belongs to all who live in it. These words from our Constitution aren't just flowery rhetoric. They're a call to action, a vision of what our nation can be. It's up to us to give those words meaning, to breathe life into that promise. No to xenophobia. Yes to justice. Yes to a South Africa that embraces all its people, regardless of where they were born. Yes to a future built on unity, not division. This is our challenge, and it's one we must meet head on. The violence we've seen, the beatings, the burnings, the destruction of livelihoods, that's not who we are as a nation. It's not the legacy of our struggle for freedom. We fought against a system that divided people based on arbitrary differences. We can't now turn around and create new categories of us and them. Our strength has always been in our diversity, in our ability to come together across lines of race, ethnicity, and nationality. To those who say, but what about jobs? What about crime? I say, let's address those issues honestly. Let's look at the root causes of unemployment and insecurity. Let's hold our leaders accountable for their promises and their failures. But let's not scapegoat the vulnerable. Let's not become the very thing we fought so hard to overcome. To my fellow South Africans, I challenge you to see the humanity in every face, regardless of accent or paperwork. To the leaders of Operation Dudula, I invite you to sit down with the people you have demonized, listen to their stories, see their humanity. And to those in power, stop fanning the flames of hate for political gain. Lead with compassion and wisdom. Build a South Africa that truly belongs to all who live in it. This is our moment. We can choose fear, or we can choose hope. We can turn inward, or we can reach out. The path we choose now will define us for generations to come. No to xenophobia. Yes to justice. Yes to a South Africa that lives up to its highest ideals. Together we can make it happen.